Hello, I'm the Godless Engineer. I uploaded a video criticizing a North Carolina pastor by the name of Ron Baity. He was going through and making some harsh criticisms about the marriage equality ban that recently got overturned in his state. And I made the positive declaration that there had been no laws in the United States that were anti-homosexual laws, like in U.S. history. Of course, I've gotten a lot of negative comments on this, saying that I'm wrong. There's been a lot of condescending comments that say I know nothing about U.S. history. That's just fucking stupid. So I educated myself and I really looked into it, and I spent time discussing it with multiple people, defending my position, and I even talked to a lawyer in Texas, which is the state that was most frequently given to me as a example of an anti-homosexual law. So I wanted to clarify my statement, but also kind of stand by it a little bit. But I just, with what I've figured out and with the information from the lawyer in my family, I just wanted to let you guys know and correct myself, because I am fine with being corrected. I'm fine with being wrong. It's the only way that you learn, being wrong. So what I found out is that the law is a little complicated and not as it seems, at least from a systems engineering point of view. Now, at a systems engineering point of view, we have a lot of documents that you have to read over and adhere to when you're building software systems. And you have to take what's in those documents at face value. So when you read a document that says something, then your program has to do that one particular thing in that particular way, and it just does it. But of course, that's not how the law works. There are certain types of law that work like that, but that's not how the United States works. I didn't know that, and I'm not ashamed for not knowing that. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school. But the important thing is I educated myself, and I admit that I'm partially wrong about this. So I'm learning. The law in 4 of the states was written with gender-specific language in it, which if at a glance kind of looks like they're anti-homosexual, but they're really not. Because while they're gender-specific, they don't really specify sexual orientation. Now, I say this because, 2 perfectly straight women could decide to experiment one night and get it on, and they would be violating the anti-sodomy law. Same thing goes for 2 men. At face value, none of these laws are anti-homosexual because they can be applied to the whole population. Now, the part that I didn't know about U.S. law was that the way that they are enforced highly affects the nature of the law. It can change the purpose of the law and the nature of the law. So I didn't know that the way it's enforced could actually have that big of an effect on the actual law. And in the United States, we have what is called common law. In common law, basically you just have the lawmakers that actually make the laws, and they write them down and they get them put into our documents and whatnot. And then you have the people that actually enforce the law. And then after people start enforcing it, that's when you start seeing the real meaning or the nature of the law. Laws are handled on a case-by-case basis. That's why, like, when the Supreme Court strikes down a case, that's why it applies to other cases, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but I will admit that I was wrong on the whole, because the nature of the law, the nature of these anti-sodomy laws, the fact that they were used to target homosexuals, even though they were applied to some heterosexual couples or whatnot, but they were specifically used against homosexual males to be more specific. They are considered anti-homosexual laws because of the way they are enforced. Now, the arguments that I got on this were simply, oh, hey, here's this court case that shows how these laws were used against homosexuals, so it's anti-homosexual law. Okay, well, homosexuals can also drive home drunk. They can do a multitude of things that break the law. That doesn't make those laws anti-homosexual laws. So I feel that that's kind of a false dichotomy to say, well, because of this court case, that means that these laws are anti-homosexual laws. No, it's because of the way that the law is enacted that it becomes discriminatory, and that's why those laws were shot down in Texas and the 3 other states, and why the other states actually changed theirs, because in other states it was actually written in a general way that it could apply to heterosexual couples. Like, they didn't even mention gender. Gender was not even a thing. They just said nobody can do this, which would include like anal sex and oral sex and whatnot. So in summary for all of this, basically, on the whole, I was wrong. The anti-sodomy laws are considered anti-homosexual laws, but because of the way that they were enforced on the general population, not just because of some court case. So I'm fine admitting that I was wrong. Like I said before, it's the only way that we learn. So I didn't know any of this stuff before, but I'm better for it now. And I'm not ashamed of that. So I hope you like this correction video. Please do like, comment, subscribe below, and don't forget.